Where are we now? Actually, we're in Gondwana land, a supercontinent which existed before Pangaea, 300, 400, 500 million years ago. This strip of land, in the far bottom of the picture, is called the Mozambique Belt. The rock here formed approximately at the same time from the same magma melt. And I would say it's probably the most amazing strip of land in the world. Because in this strip of land, the magma, which formed the rock, cooled at exactly correct rates. It had exactly the correct elemental composition. And the rock environment, acidity, herbacity, was exactly the right. And perfect to form gemstones. But these gemstones are colorless. We needed one more thing. The magma in this Mozambique belt also had small amounts of pollutions. Trace amounts of, for example, titanium coloring the sapphires blue, or chromium coloring the rubies red. It had trace amounts of, for example, vanadium coloring beryls and chrysoberyls subtle green. And since we need all this, we need the time of cooling to be correct, we need the elemental position and composition to be correct, and we need the rock environment, acidity to be correct, and we also need these pollutions to exist for the color to appear in the gemstones. That's why gemstones are rare. Sri Lanka is a curious place in this Mozambique belt. We see here all of these dots are major mines where we find sapphires and all other sorts of gemstones. It seems that gemstone varieties which are widespread in the rest of the Mozambique belt are heavily concentrated in Sri Lanka, and especially in the southern part. Those of you who have studied gemstones might know that Sri Lanka is mostly famous as the country of sapphires. The sapphires here can occur in tremendously fine qualities, and not only in blue. They can be pink, yellow, green, white, all natural colors, colored by different kinds of pollutions. For example, the blue ones are colored by titanium and iron. If the titanium is not available in the rock, the sapphires only get iron pollutions and become green or yellow. Small amounts of chromium color the sapphires pink, while greater amounts of chromium colors them red. So ruby, the red stone colored by chromium, is actually just a red sapphire. So we could have the green ones, yellow sapphires, pink sapphires. Mostly these are named by their colors. The sapphires, the green ones are called green sapphires and so on. But we have one incredibly rare exception. That's when the sapphires goes in a color which is a subtle mix of orange and pink. Some call it a mix between a lotus flower and a sunset. Then it gets an own name. It's called Padparacha or Padmaraga, and is probably my favorite among the sapphires. And it only occurs in Sri Lanka. To me, however, the most fascinating of all gems from Sri Lanka is probably not the sapphires. Deep in the riverbeds, where sapphires, spinels, tourmalines, zircons are found, we also find really rare gems. For example, in 1945, a Count Richard Toff bought a spinel for his gem collection. He looked at it in gemological equipment, and he saw that it divided light into two parts, called double refractive property, which spinel should not have. He sent it to a gemologist, and it appeared that he discovered a new gem species. It was named after him, it was called taphite, and a gemstone which occurs only in one example became, of course, extremely expensive. So this started a rush where collectors, dealers, all looked through their spindles in hope to find more taphites. Still, it took 8 years because before someone found even one more example. Nowadays, we have Sri Lanka, Tanzania, and Myanmar produces some examples of taphite, so we have perhaps a couple thousand gems of taphite in the world. Still a very expensive gemstone, still one of the 10 most rare gemstones in the world, but some thousands of them exist. However, this red taphite, visible in the far bottom, is only still found in Sri Lanka, near Ratnapura, and I believe that they have found less than 5 examples of it throughout history. It's hard to beat the rarity of this taphite, but one which managed that is Grandidiorite, hard to pronounce. It was found in small translucent crystals in Fort Dauphin in Madagascar in 1902, and named after a French explorer, Alfred Grandidier. However, 100 years later, just 13 years ago, people found a transparent gem quality crystal in Sri Lanka, also in near Ratnapura, in Cologne. This could seem like a very strange coincidence. Madagascar and Sri Lanka is not very close, and the only 2 occurrences are on these islands. However, when we place these islands as they probably were placed 500 million years ago, we see that these 2 occurrences for Grandidiorite, the only 2 ones in the world, were probably 60 kilometers apart from each other and formed from the same bedrock. Probably 20 or less gems of this Grandidiorite exists today, so it's even harder to beat the rarity of this. There is one gem variety which could manage that achievement, and it's bromelite. There's only one single gem quality crystal found throughout the entire history in the world, also near Ratnapura, which of this bromelite. So there's probably 5 faceted examples, gemstones, in the world today from only one crystal. Bromelite is unique in more aspects. It was named from a Swedish gemologist, or mineralogist also, and well, it took 100 years before they found a faceted example. It happens also to be a gemstone which is almost second to none in hardness. It only has, only diamond beats its hardness. So it has a 9 of hardness at most scale, where diamond has a 10, which is incredibly unique for a rare gemstone. So as a matter of fact, I wrote an article in Times and Jewelry a while ago about, and tried to list the 10 rarest gemstones in the world. 4 of these are found exclusively or almost exclusively in Sri Lanka. 5 if we count bromelite, which I didn't even include in the article because it's totally unavailable in the market. So a lot of treasures on such a small area. It poses a great opportunity for persons who want unique and natural colored gemstones, because these are concentrated on Sri Lanka like nowhere else in the world. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Now, when you show that bromelite, what does it look like a diamond? Is it a beautiful stone, or is it just interesting because it's so incredibly rare?
Very good question. Often these rare gemstones, like the rarity of bromelite, or maybe not as rare, they are valued mostly because of their rarity. But bromelite is a very much an exception. It has not only this great hardness, like sapphires, and almost like diamond, it also has how beautiful it is and how much it sparkles depends on two things. Dispersion, which is usually called fire in common language, and also luster, which is derived from the refractive index of a gem. And bromlite has very good values of both of these. So diamond is known for its fire, because diamond has a very high both refractive index and dispersion. There are actually color gems, not only bromlite, but for example, there's a natural gemstone called zircon, which has a dispersion higher than diamond. So if you have a colorless zircon, natural, it sparkles in even more colors than diamond. So zircon has been a replacement stone for diamond throughout history. And that's why. Any more questions?